Welcome to the TVMusic Network podcast with Phyllis and Belinda. I'm Belinda.
And I'm Phyllis.
And today we're going to talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Yes, it was one of our favorite events. We love seeing it every year, attending it when we can, and seeing all the artists, the people who helped make the soundtrack of our lives, be inducted and honored for their life's work.
Yes. Now, this is a 2023 induction ceremony, which took place in New York.
Right. At Barclays Center. I always say it wrong. Anyway, it was very nice, great ceremony in New York. Had a lot of celebrities there. They honored like at least 13 people, I think. Sheryl, Missy, Elliot, Bernie Taupin, who was Elton John's, songwriting partner, and more. Just a bunch of people.
Yeah. Now, every year they have this ceremony, and they rotate where it's going to be. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the museum is in Cleveland.
Right.
But before they got the museum built, they had been doing it in New York.
Right.
And then once the Cleveland museum opened up, it was supposed to go there. But then, of course, a lot of people didn't want to go there. They wanted to make sure all the celebrities would be there. People could go. They could sell tickets. The whole nine yards.
And they did it in Cleveland because that's where the birth of rock and roll was.
And
the first radio station, the first radio station that played all the songs that created rock and roll, were the godfathers of rock and roll. That's where they had it.
So now they've been doing this where they go. So now they rotated. 1 year it's in New York. 1 year it's in Cleveland. And then
1 year it was in L.A.
Yeah, so it's the second time it's been in L.A. So every 3 or 4 years they'll throw one up in L.A.
Right.
So now if you rotate from last year being L.A., we now go back to New York, and that's where they are. So we're just going to give you a rundown of the show.
Yeah, that was pretty nice. It was a very, very long show. It was 4 hours?
4.5 hours.
4.5 hours. That's really long, but it needed to be that long in order to honor everybody.
Actually, that's pretty short. I thought last year was 5 hours. It
could have been.
So basically, if you ever go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
bring a pack of lunch.
Bring some, pack a little bit, like a little snack or something. You can't bring a whole meal in because they're not going to let you.
Plan your bathroom breaks.
But just plan your bathroom breaks. Plan, Anyway,
plan your screaming
contact
voice.
us. We'll tell you what to do.
Right.
If you need to go. So so there's a wide variety of people that get inducted into the ceremony. And one thing I like about the ceremony is that there's something for everybody.
Right. There's
something for everybody. So when you go, and when we were there last year, you could kind of tell who people were there to see.
Right.
You got this group of this people. You got this group. You could kind of tell. It was excited.
I remember that one year when we went. And it was The Cure, Janet Jackson, all those people getting inducted at the same time. And you could totally tell the Cure fans. All in their, all in their goth, all in their black, whatever. You could tell the Janet fans. You could just tell everybody. It was really, really cool.
That was your Def Leppard kind of.
Yeah.
Just want to be sure.
Oh, are you going to do the 80s thing this early?
No, not
I'm
this early.
shocked.
Not this early.
Go for it. Might as well.
So that was a great year. And
right. It was a really good year.
It was a really, really good year. And I remember that year I was planning my bathroom break, and I was planning I was going to take a lunch. And I was planning, we had got pizza ahead of time, and I was planning it all out, and I said, the zombies. I'm going to do it when the zombies come out. I'm going to go out, rest my feet, go out everything. I sat through the whole entire show, including the zombies. It was a great presentation.
It was really good.
It was great. So that happens. And whatever. But one thing they did the last 2 years, in the past, they would tell you who's being inducted by who. Who's performing, for who. Now, the last 2 years they've done this, we're going to tell you who's all performing, and we're going to tell you who's all presenting, and we're going to have to surprise guests, and we're not going to tell you who they are, so you kind of have to guess. And I'm like, just tell me who's doing what.
I like that.
Okay.
The guests, because it's supposed to be the anticipation of the show, what the performances are going to be, and a lot of artists are performing themselves. They're the ones that are coming out and performing, which I like that, because sometimes when you see some songs or you hear some performances, you're like, oh, only the artists themselves can really do it. True. Don't you agree?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, I think the anticipation is, can you get through this 4.5 hour show?
Right.
Anyway, so the one thing they did this year was it was live on TV.
Right.
Disney Plus.
It live on Disney Plus.
It was live on Disney Plus at 5 o'clock, our time in California, so you could actually watch the show.
Right.
And you didn't have to. I mean, last year it wasn't live on TV, but you could listen to one of the radio stations, and they were playing,
and it was still live on the radio station too.
Yeah, so they had it that way, and if you missed it, you could still go to Disney Plus and you can watch the replay of the ceremony. And also on January 1st,
right?
If you don't have Disney Plus on ABC, they're going to show a condensed version.
Right.
Of it.
They're going to show a 3-hour special.
It's a 3-hour special. So
on
with
ABC.
Commercials, you're probably going to get a couple hours. So you'll miss a couple songs. You'll probably, they'll cut the songs. They'll cut a couple of speeches down.
Yeah, they might. And we'll remind you coming up that it's going to be coming up. But it's going to be on New Year's Day, January 1st, 2024.
Yeah. So we're going to break down and tell you what happened and give you our thoughts on it. If you missed it, here you go.
We'll just do it in order that they perform.
Yep, in order. Okay, yeah, we're going to order how they gave out the awards in order how they present it, which also can be arranged and different when you watch it back on TV as well.
Yes, very true.
Yeah, very true. Use the first person, the last one use the same, and then they'll kind of mix them sometimes. So when you watch it back, it's always good to watch it back and see what was cut, what was, and so on. Well, let's start off. First of all, Sheryl Crow.
Right. I thought she was very good. I like that she opened up the show with one of her songs, and then she had Olivia Rodrigo there performing with her. And it was kind of good because it was kind of like, the young buck. You know how people say the young blood, or something like that. Paying homage to the people who came before her, which I thought was very good. And Sheryl Crow, she was inducted by Laura Dern, who is a friend of hers. And I like Sheryl Crow's songs. They're simple, they're fun, they're light. And then when she started going over the songs and the hits, I'm like, wow, she had that many. It kind of like threw me off that she had so many. But I really liked it. It was a great performance.
Yeah, she had Stevie Nicks came out.
Yeah.
And they sang Strong Enough. And one thing about, you don't really see Stevie Nicks just showing up places.
Yeah, I know.
Stevie Nicks showed up at this thing.
Showed up and showed out.
Showed up and showed out to sing with Sheryl and to be there for her.
Right.
And when Stevie Nicks was being inducted, she said she wanted to see more women. The year we were there.
Right.
There was more women. And we got more women.
Right.
And she was actually there to, there to do it.
Yeah.
And then we had Peter Frampton.
Oh my God, which was really great.
Who
knew Peter Frampton would come out with Sheryl Crow?
Yeah,
of all people.
Peter Frampton came out as a special guest to perform with Sheryl Crow.
Yeah, and he was really good, of course.
He was really good. It was fantastic. I will go into details a little bit later when I start my usual the good and the bad about the Rock and Roll of Fame, which has to be addressed. But question number one. What is Peter Frampton doing as a special guest at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when he has not been inducted himself? Yes. The fact that Peter Frampton has not been inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame
is
embarrassing.
Is this name in considerations?
Embarrassing. Do people understand that Peter Frampton had the biggest selling album with Frampton Comes Alive? Peter Frampton is rock and roll. It's like my mind is boggled every year when he doesn't come up. He doesn't. But first, I thought he must be in it because there's no way Peter Frampton would not be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I looked it up once again to make sure I wasn't tripping. He's not in it, and guess what? I'm tripping because Peter Frampton should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes, he should. There should be a lot of other people that should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame too. And I know there is that debate every year.
And we will discuss
who's in it, who's not in it, who should be in it, who are surprising that we're not. And I agree, he should be in it. But I am happy that the people that they inducted this year are in it because some of those people had been waiting too.
Yeah, but we'll get on that later. But just the fact that I saw he was a special guest, I'm just thinking, have you not heard Frampton Comes Alive? I mean, it's like, anyway. Yeah. And he was there. He was there. He's been having some health issues, but he was there. He was sitting down. He came out. He performed. He stayed at the show. He was in the audience watching the show.
Yeah, he had a good time.
He enjoyed it. Fantastic. He was in the building. So let's get him on the ballot next year, and let's get him inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame while he's here to enjoy it.
Yeah, right, to get his flowers.
Nets. I kept it short. Nets. So that was DJ Kool. DJ Kool was honored. And, okay, they do this thing where they nominate a bunch of artists, and then they nominate a bunch of other artists, and they're under different titles.
A bunch of other artists.
I guess that sounds weird, but anyway, so you're inducted as music artists, and they have like people who influences.
Oh, right.
Who did early
influence.
People,
then yeah,
whatever we can say. And DJ Kooper was inducted by Cool J,
right?
And most people will go, "Who is that?" Well, they showed you a package. They showed you who he was. He's DJ.
Well, yeah, and he's like sort of like a person who kind of started hip hop, and hip hop is in its 50th anniversary this year, so it's fitting that someone from that class or someone from hip hop would be inducted.
So I knew the minute it was 50th anniversary, I'm like, not only is a rapper going to get inducted this year,
right?
They're going to pull out some other category or some
artist.
kind of influence thing, and there he was, and he's still with us, and he was very emotional.
Yeah.
And he mentioned how he used to do parties at his house. His sister would sell the tickets.
Yeah.
They would do parties. They were little.
I remember parties in general like that.
We used to do that as well. We used to have our own performances. So we sold tickets at neighbors. And people showed up.
Yeah.
And we made money.
And we actually made money. And we actually
did
had performances. Yeah.
Like, okay.
The things you do when you're young.
Yeah.
The creative minds of the Thomas sisters.
I mean, we literally had a program.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, and people came to timing and ticket people.
Yeah. And the kids from the neighborhood would come and see our show.
And we gave them positions. And you're selling the tickets.
It was great.
You're selling the lemonade. You're security.
Yeah.
I guess it was a sign.
And you're going to buy the candy because at the end we had to pass them out.
Yep. It was all there. But anyway, so he used to do that as well. And his sister sold the tickets. So he brought his sister up, and he got all emotional. And Cool J was there. And
I thought it was very fitting.
Yeah, they showed his whole package and everything. And it was nice to see him being honored.
The one thing I did not like about his package, seems like his package turned into a documentary about music. About soul music, about swing music and stuff. And not so much about him. And I don't know if it was just because of the way it was or that was the deal. But I don't know. I didn't like his package as much as the other ones.
I think they were trying to show in his package just the evolution and the discovery of the hip hop, displaying the DJ, displaying the turntable.
Yeah,
and
true.
It looked. Yeah, it probably. The clip could be from a documentary. We've had that before. You watch it, and you're like, I've seen this before. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm ready for that.
So that could have been what they used or whatever. But he's in it. He's happy. He was emotional.
Yeah.
We're moving on.
And I do like that he showed people. He showed James Brown. They talked about Belafonte, all the people who kind of helped birth rock and roll that turned into soul, that turned into R&B, that derived from hip hop.
And he got a little emotional. He made a comment like, so many people are gone.
Yeah.
That he actually worked with. And you got to think about that as older people get inducted.
Yeah.
That's going to be happening. So that was one of the things he was getting kind of emotional thinking about that. He mentioned James Brown and he started talking people that he actually, worked with.
Right.
So let's move on.
Chaka Khan,
has finally made it. Now, she's one that's always on the ballot every year. She kind of slips in, slips out. You never really know what's happening.
It's good for her.
And I didn't think it was going to happen. But it happened. Chaka Khan is now in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Jasmine Sullivan did the introduction for her.
Yeah, but then she started off with Common in her singing, right? Or was that after?
They showed the clips first.
Yeah, they showed her.
They had a clip package,
right?
And they showed they had Oakland Whitney Houston talking about her. They had the artist Herc talking about her. Right. They had Queen Latifah, Joni Mitchell, Michelle Obama. They had all kinds of people talking about her. And I thought it was cool to see Michelle Obama because Michelle Obama talked about being from Chicago.
Yeah, as in Chaka.
Watching Chaka Khan, who's from Chicago, with the group Rufus. And, and so that was her package.
Right. I think it was pretty cool.
They did the performances. Sometimes they do the performances before they sing. Sometimes before they do their speech.
Yeah, it gives a little.
And sometimes they do it after. Yeah, but she did her performances first.
Yeah.
So she starts off with Common.
Yep, and they did I Feel For You.
They did I Feel For You, and he was doing, Melly Mel's part, and she was doing her part.
Chaka Khan, yeah.
And then they did Ain't Nobody.
Yeah.
And she had her, and her came out.
And she did her guitar.
She did her guitar.
Right.
She did her guitar. They were singing, and then they went into Sweet Thing. And they went into that, and they were, performing that. And that sounded okay. It started off a little shaky, because I think one of them missed the note. Actually, I think it was Chaka who missed the timing of coming in because you got a band playing it, which isn't your band. So
I don't know. It wasn't the best. It wasn't her best.
And at one point, I think she started to sing the wrong line, and her kind of got confused. But her's like, oh, and then they started harmonizing, and then it got back on track.
And then it got off track again.
And then it got off track. But the funniest thing,
I'm still laughing.
It probably looked good on paper.
Yeah.
And it probably was fantastic. And it meant well. But
don't have the entrances.
But
just
it was
have her out
so
there already.
funny.
Have her sit down.
So
I don't know.
Chaka Khan's introducing people. So at the beginning, when Jasmine Sullivan introduced her, she said the people who were going to be performing with her. So you knew already who was coming out.
Right.
So all of a sudden,
her.
Yeah, Common, her, and Sia. So they first said, I'm like, did they say Sia? Did they say
Zaza?
And I'm
You're
like,
right.
which did they say?
No,
and you go, no, they said Sia. And I'm like, okay. Well,
as in Sia.
Yeah, like, we haven't seen Sia in a while.
Oh,
all of
Lord.
a sudden, she introduces Sia, and Sia starts walking out on stage, and Chaka Khan goes to greet her.
Well, yeah, because Sia's escorted out by one of the stage
hands. The stage hands, yeah.
One of the roadies, I don't know what you call them, the backstage people.
Yeah, the stage hands.
And they bring her out. Oh, God. She had her Sia wig. You know, she has that air of mystery about her.
Yeah.
No one can really see her face.
Yeah.
She has her wig. And it's a nice idea. However, it doesn't work in a live performance when you're coming 20 feet from backstage and have to get on there. And she had these big, huge heels on. She could barely walk. She could barely see her. You said it was like...
It was like a scene of the Masked Singer. Yeah. It really reminded me of when they introduced the person and the Men in Black brought her out and she can't see and she's trying to walk and she's got this theme cover and she's big
got these
outfit
5 or 6 inch
and
heels.
the heels. I'm like, it was hysterical.
Yeah, and Chaka's like, I got you.
And Chaka goes, I got you. I got you. She's moving her to the mic. And then there's a mic stand, which I think Sia was supposed to be at the mic stand, and, singing. Right. That way she didn't have to motion or touch it.
Exactly.
But Chaka Khan's trying to guide her there.
Yeah, getting the mic, whatever. And I was like, did they not go to rehearsal? I don't think they went to any kind of rehearsal, any kind of sound check, which is okay because it's Chaka Khan. You can't tell her to come to rehearsal at her own thing. But I don't know. It was a little messy. You were being inducted to Rock and Roll Fame, and you were choosing to sing, and I'm guessing you come to rehearsal. Yeah, you do.
Because you don't know what's going to happen. And you come to rehearsal, there's called a rehearsal, and there's called a dress rehearsal, where you need to come wearing the exact same thing you're wearing, heels, clothes. Yeah, exactly. A lot of times people come and they're just wearing the shoes. But, you got to wear, if you can wear flare, you need to have, because what happens if you trip over that thing? Yeah. So the big costume for the Masked Singer, she should have brought it on out. She needed to be on the stage.
It was awful.
To practice it. And maybe they did it. Maybe sometimes you could practice 1,000 times and that one time live, you get that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. But she came out, and then when she opened her mouth, Sia has a beautiful voice. She has a beautiful voice.
They did Ain't Nobody, right?
She's a great songwriter.
I think.
And she's a great songwriter. That is every woman. She's a great
songwriter
and everything else. And she's got, Sia used to know what she looked like. And then she started this whole persona thing. So now, when I see her, I know a lot of people don't know what she looks like. But she used to go to events and we would see her. She would see her. And then when she opened her mouth to sing it, it didn't sound like Sia. It sounded literally like a character on The Masked Singer.
Yeah,
she started singing it, and it was like...
It was a weird key.
It was a weird key. It was like a weird arrangement.
And I kind of blame it on Alan Blackstone for that, because...
Why are you blaming Alan for that?
Because, number one, ain't he the band person?
Yes,
the band leader or whatever. Person, yes. So then, the arrangement is partly on him.
Okay.
75% on him.
Okay. I'm sure Adam Blackstone found the key, and I'm sure one of them said, "Oh no, I want to be the higher key, lower key." What's he gonna do? He's
gonna make the higher, lower key.
That's fine. But then when you come out and it takes you a while to get out there, and in your costume, and it just I don't know how to describe it. Anyway,
but I'm very happy.
Watch it and let us know what you think, because it was hysterical.
It's on Disney Plus, yeah.
But it wasn't even supposed to be. That's what made it like. I was
unintentionally funny.
No, seriously, was unintentionally funny. I said, wow, Sia's going to sing. Oh, Sia's going to
that's going to be great.
It's going to be good. And then when it was taking so long for her to get out there and check out there, it was just like, what is happening?
Yeah, I know.
What is happening here?
But
it's
what I do like is that when Chaka got over for her speech, she brought over one of the founders of Rufus for her and mentioned that without that band, she wouldn't be there.
Yes.
And she gave them their props. I did like that.
Yeah, she brought out Tony and said he's the guitar player of Rufus. The way she first said it, she said, "Oh, I wouldn't be here without, I'm Rufus and so-and-so, so-and-so." And she's like, "And I'm going to bring out the members of Rufus." I'm like, holy cow, the members of Rufus. I'm like, hope we're going to see Walk. We're going to see, I'm like, this is wow. They're going to perform.
And I'm like, she's going to bring out the members of Rufus? Why didn't they perform before?
Yeah, I was like, why didn't they play with the band? And then she brings one guy out. She brings Tony. Yeah. And she says, "Oh, we've been through, this and that and whatever." And, I don't know whether the members of Rufus were or what the situation is. But I do like that she mentioned it. And I do like that he was there. Because that's one of my things. When people get into Rock and Roll Fame and they don't mention that, they say, "Oh, there's so many people that, they're behind me and so and so." Like, why don't you start with the ones in the band? Or,
Right.
That's just my personal thing because, I'm a nut, about these music things.
Yeah.
So, but she looked great.
Oh, yes.
I forgot.
I have to mention, everybody looked great. There was a lot of black, a lot of queens, a lot of people loved their outfits, but she looked good. Her, Stevie Nicks, her looks good. Sia, as crazy as her outfit was, looked good. Queen looked good. There was just a lot
Chaka was ready.
People were banking.
She was ready.
Yes.
And, she's 70 years old or 71 now.
Who knows?
I mean, she is just ready to go. And I saw her doing interviews on TV about some stuff, and she's got perfume, and she's got, I'm like, oh, like she's got a whole
she's been hitting the circuit lately.
Oh, yeah, she's got a whole thing going on, and with this, I know she wants to do a movie and all about herself, but with this coming out, giving her new things, I'm sure we're going to be seeing another tour coming. We're going to see a lot of more action going. You go, Chaka.
Yeah.
Keep singing.
We haven't seen the last of her, which I think is fantastic.
We haven't seen the last of her. Then we had George Michael.
Yes.
George Michael was honored.
Yeah. George Michael, half of Wham.
Yeah. If you follow me on social media, I've been tweeting about it for like a year now.
What I think is great,
maybe longer,
about that is that George Michael and Wham, they've been in the news lately because of the documentary that was just released, a little earlier this year. And so he's been on everyone's minds. And it's a time where it's starting to be Christmas time, holidays coming up. So then last Christmas, one of his most famous songs is going to be coming out. And what I liked about George Michael's introduction was that Andrew Ridgeley, his best friend and Wham partner, was there, and he was the one that honored him. Yeah,
it was great. Yeah. I was crying. I'm still crying. I've watched it maybe 3 times.
It was
now.
A great video. Great.
It was such a great package.
Yeah, Andrew looked really
the way they put it together, and because I kept thinking, I'm like, who's gonna come? Who is gonna come from London to do this? And I thought you said Andrew. I didn't say Andrew. I think you said it's gonna be Andrew.
Yeah.
And I thinking I really can't see his dad come. I really can't see his sister coming. I was thinking maybe David would come. I was trying to think who would show up to represent. Usually David does also represent the family. So I was thinking, who's going to...
David?
David. He's one of their oldest friends and
Got it.
worked in part of his team. So I'm like, that's who's going to come.
No, it's really great.
But I thought it would be great if we had, Andrew or Shirley or Pepsi, someone, and Andrew was there.
Yep.
And
155 million records sold.
Receipts.
Yes.
Receipts. People take that so lightly.
13 number ones between U.S. and
so you think about
England.
all those $1 million, all those millions of records sold, all those number ones. This is before streaming.
Yeah,
before
where
streaming,
you had to buy
physical you had
records.
to physically buy the record,
yeah,
not just put one single
it,
out and stream it and get these charts and whatever else.
Spotify.
So when people always say, "Oh, the next George Michael," they have all these streaming songs. There's a net song, and I'm like, just get back to me when you get one number one. That doesn't consist of this and that.
Right.
I know the business has changed, but just get back to me then. But anyway,
I know.
So George was a great package. They had Elton John was speaking the package. Mary J was speaking.
Yeah.
And they had Sam Smith was speaking. And Sam Smith, just to hear him say, if it wasn't for George Michael, I wouldn't be here. And to hear a lot of artists say that, it was a good feeling.
Right.
To see someone
I think so.
Like a Sam Smith talk about him and just say stuff and whatever. So originally, when they announced that George was being inducted and they were naming performers,
right?
They started listing these performers. And they listed Miguel, they listed Adam Levine, and they listed,
Carrie
Underwood. It's a bunch of performers. And you have to guess, as I was telling you earlier. And I said, Miguel for Careless Whisper.
Yeah.
If you don't get Miguel to sing Careless Whisper, you need someone who can hit
really
the high note, so he can hit that low note. Then you're doing it wrong. First, I thought maybe they're going to do. No, they announced Adam Levine first. I thought probably going to be Adam Levine.
Have Adam, yeah.
Then they announced Miguel, and I said Miguel. So boom, it comes out. Here comes Miguel. Miguel singing Careless Whisper. He had it. He said it so.
Yeah, he killed
hit that note. He killed it. Then Adam Levine came out. Okay, so they announced the people. They go, and to celebrate George Michael, it was Andrew. He said, we have Miguel. We have Adam Levine. And
he said Adam Levine, Carrie Underwood, but let's start it off
with Miguel. And I'm like, yes. And the saxophone started playing. Because Adam Blackstone had the full-on band, horns, and seriously, when you got the horns. When you got the horns and you got
you got it as a saxophone.
I mean, he's got it all there. Because saxophone, it kicked off. It was great. It was fantastic. Then Adam Levine came out. I'm like, what are Adam's going to sing? Adam comes out. He has his guitar, and he's singing Faith.
Right.
And I was like, nothing against Adam Levine.
Right. Because I like him. It was almost like he could have sang another song.
Yeah. Either he could have sang another song, or I don't know. Maybe that's the 3 songs that the family picked out. Well, 3 songs to represent George and all this stuff too.
Right.
And I just wasn't feeling it. And I don't know if I wasn't feeling it because it was him and that song.
But it was nice.
Or was it? And the funny part about it was that people were like, because they say the names before they come out, and a lot of people on social media thought it was Adam Lambert that was coming.
Why were they thinking Adam Lambert?
Adam Lambert, they get their names mixed up all the time. And Adam Lambert actually performed. We were there at the ABC. What was that show called? They would sing songs of the 80s. They would come back.
What was that called?
With
Arsenio Hall.
Arsenio Hall. And Kelsey Ballerini. And they had a live taping.
I can't remember what it was,
for the finale.
But I remember the show. It was a summer
Adam
show.
Lambert was there, and he sang George. He performed George Michael. So maybe that's why I thought of it too. But people were, So, but I thought Adam did okay.
Yeah, I thought he did all right.
And then Carrie Underwood came out.
Yeah.
So social media is going crazy now because they're like, "Oh, Miguel's so great. What the heck's Adam Levine doing there? We're looking for Adam Lambert." And then
people love to stay.
It would have been great
in their genre
if Adam Lambert was there, but we know he's on tour with Queen. You know, he's on tour with Queen, traveling the world. He'll be in town this week. But anyway, that was just my take on the Adam Levine issue. And then Carrie Underwood came out. So this time, social media is going ballistic, going crazy. What is Carrie Underwood doing there? What's going on? What's happening? What is she doing there? I thought she was cut out for Willie. So why is she here? Whatever else too. And she sang One More Try.
Yeah.
And she was
it was
she was looking all black. She sang One More Try. And she
another good outfit.
Killed it. I thought she sounded great. I thought she sounded fantastic. The song had a little bit of soul in it. It was like, I was
a little bit of church.
Well, I said, "Come on, Carrie, take us to church. Let's go." And then Carrie went for it, and I thought it was a great performance.
It was.
I know a lot of people didn't seem to care for it. People were kind of half and half on it, but I thought it was great. I thought she sounded great. I thought she looked great. She's a big George Michael fan.
Right.
She's a big fan of George Michael. She covered. I don't know if that's the year he was on American Idol, and was it that season when he performed with the top 10? But anyway, and that was So that was performance, and then Andrew said, "Oh, George would have loved this." You know, and he had the trophy and all that.
Would being honored
and all that, and I thought I was okay. I cried, and I was okay. And then the next day, George Michael's family posts a picture, and it's just the
on the social media.
Yeah, on the social media, they put the picture of the trophy, and I was in tears again.
Oh,
but anyway,
nice.
You didn't see my Insta
story?
story?
Tribute to him.
Anyway.
No, I don't think I did.
Anyway, if you have not figured this out, I'm a huge George Michael fan.
Yes, I am as well.
Since the Wham days.
Yeah, it's been really hard.
Since the Wham days. It's it's really hard
to listen to his music.
And I haven't really been able to play his music a lot until this year when the documentary came out. I was like, am I going to get through this? And now I can play it. I've got it. I've listened to Last Christmas. People, please stop making that song over.
Why?
There's too many people make it over.
It's an honor to him, and the song is a classic. That's why people are making it over. But I still like the original.
It's been so many people making it over now.
No, I think it's great.
It was great. It was an honor.
How many people George has influenced.
I need people to stop making it. But anyway, that's just my opinion.
I think it's fine.
That's my opinion.
Let people make it over. Still play George. Let as many people make it over as much as they want. It's a great honor, a great testament to him. It shows that his songs aren't one-hit wonders. It shows his songs are timeless. Let him do it.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Okay. And that was George.
That was George,
oh,
yes.
God, I miss him. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway. The Spinners.
Oh, my God. So cute.
So just when I was having an emotional attachment and everything to the rock fame of this George Michael being inducted. I loved it. They go right into it. The minute they show up the clip, I'm like, oh, the Spinners. Now, the Spinners, the Spinners are a group. They have been around. They've been around forever.
Yeah.
They're like...
people know, like, the Temptations.
Yeah.
They know the Four Tops. They know, all these other bands. But the Spinners always seem to be underrated in a sense.
Yep.
People talk about the Four Tops. They talk about Temptations. Oh, my God, Motown Sound. I'm like, wait a minute. What about the Spinners? The Spinners were a fantastic band.
Yeah. People don't talk about them. They don't get the recognition.
In the same vein.
And that was one of the things that was in the package tape. In the package tape, Questlove pretty much said it. And the one thing about the Spinners was Spinners were on Motown. That's the thing. Spinners are from Michigan.
Right.
They were signed to Motown. But in that Motown had so many artists and
again, like I said, they paid attention to their number ones. The Temptations got all the attention, and then Four Tops got attention. So stuff they were like, oh, wait a minute, we need to leave. So they leave Motown, sign with Atlantic Records, meet up with producer Tom Bell, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
they start producing hits, hit after hit after hit. It was fantastic.
Yeah, Tom Bell starts writing songs, start writing everything. And one thing I'd always say about the Spinners, if they have an unsung on one of my favorite TV shows is Unsung on TV One, where they talk about artists and the recordings and what happened. And they're it's like behind the music, but it's the R&B version, which it's called Unsung.
Yeah, it's a really great show.
It's a great show.
And like you said, it's your favorite show.
It is my favorite show. In fact, I thought of that idea a long time ago, and I thought I should make a show and just do it and focus on R&B artists and whatever. Right. And didn't do it, and then one day
there's your show.
There's my show, and I can't sue them because I had the idea, but I didn't act on it. So
But we had a chance to meet some of the producers, and it was really great encounter when you met them.
And I was so excited.
Yeah.
And everybody was looking like
what's going on? Who's
everybody
here?
was like, who are they? And one of those people, she's losing it. She's losing it. And the funny thing, you go, oh, you're going to be so excited to meet them. And I'm like, who are these guys and why? And then you mentioned, and I didn't hear it at first. And you go,
oh, right.
And they're looking like, you said she was going to be excited.
I know,
She's looking like, who are you guys? Then I go, oh, my God, it's my favorite show. But anyway. So, it is one of my favorite shows. But anyway, the new season to be coming up soon. Yeah. We'll talk about it later.
And you can check out the Spinners, I guess.
Yeah,
they might
so
have
on
it somewhere.
they have it unsung.
Right.
And on the unsung, the first thing they said that I've always said, this group has never been awarded anything. They never won a music award. They never won a Grammy. They've never won. I mean, this group has been around legendary. And you listen to their songs and listen to their music, and I was totally confused. Why did they never win a Grammy? So I had to go look and see who they were nominated against.
You had a good explanation.
And then you look and you see this category, and it's like the Temptations, Gladys Knight, Stevie Wonder, the Spinners. I'm like, holy cow, this category was stacked. Can you imagine?
That's why.
Can you imagine?
And that's exactly why. Some have never won Grammys. It was stacked with A-plus people.
A-plus people.
A-plus against A-plus
it's like A-plus. It's like amazing. But their package, they had Daryl Hall. They had Daryl Hall talking. They had Boyz II Men talking about in Philadelphia. And they're saying, you had to perform. You had to see. That was so great to see them. And then they had Henry, who's one of the surviving members, and John. They had them on the package tape of the Spinners, and they were talking. And then they were showing the old clips, and they were showing everything. And like I said, I never thought the Spinners would ever be in the Rock and Roll Fame, or even think Rock and Roll Fame Spinners. I don't think that at all. But I was so happy. It took me back to my childhood, that of my parents. Yeah. And one thing about the Spinners is that all those guys could sing. And the Spinners had...
If you lived on Deodore Street...
in Chicago, you need to know you knew the Spinners. Yeah.
a window would be open,
yeah.
a song would be playing, a car would go by, and the radio would be playing, and there would be a spinner song.
Definitely.
It's a shame.
I'll Be Around,
yeah,
Sadie.
I never knew love before. You.
There's so many. Yeah, there's just so many. And you may not know a song or two. These, wow, you'd be surprised how many songs you actually know. So one thing about the Spinners, I'll try to keep it short because I could go on and on. But one thing about the Spinners is that everyone in that band could sing. Yeah. And they had our different singers at different times. Like Bobby would sing on some part, and you would have Henry would sing.
Right.
And you would have some people that would sing. And then they would switch, members and all that. And I even said it before I watched Rock and Roll. I've been saying it for years. There is an artist in that group named Felipe Wynn.
Yes.
This guy is so underrated. Such a vocalist, such a performer. I know I was talking to one of the guys on the Stylistics at one point, and he said, I think he's the most, what did he say? Impromptu. Like, on the spot. You don't know what he's going to do, when he's going to do it all. And I said, oh, God, that's what I always said.
Right.
And I could watch this guy perform forever. I could watch him and just watch him. So I watch a lot of Spinner clips. And I always look for Felipe. And I watch his mannerisms. And I'm like, they're not going to find a singer like that.
Yeah, check out Felipe Wynn.
Felipe Wynn. So Felipe Wynn left the group. And when he left the group, they got his cousin, J.C. Cameron, who's the only person they did not mention in this Rock Hall of Fame thing. And he's still alive. He was in the package. I don't know. But I know just recently he was at the Motown Museum with Henry. And they were talking about, he's the singer of The Shame. They were saying how he sang it on one take. So I don't know when or where. I mean, he was only in the group probably for like an album. Because he left and then Felipe came back and all that. But anyway. But they had John on there, and they had Henry. Henry's the only one that still performs with the Spinners. We see them today, and he is basically the only original member of the lineup. So I was like, please get the Spinners, get inducted, do something before we lose that last original member.
Everybody.
And we made it. He made it, and John, John was in the group for 25 years.
And I like their speeches.
He's not an original member, but really had them, and they were there.
Right.
John and Henry were there, and they didn't go up on stage to speak. But it was already in their speech. And I don't know why they did that decision. Maybe because they didn't want to get them up there. It's a live thing. Yeah. Like Bobby, so John had a stroke. It's just a physical movement. I could see probably why he wouldn't go up there. But they had to, because I was like, oh, because I could see them thanking people on a tape. I'm like, oh, they're not there. And then they showed them in the audience. Right. They're there with the whole family. I'm in tears or whatever. But
talk about
one of the groups that was performing, New Edition made a tweet and said, hi. We're performing at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Right then, what did I say to you?
What did you say to me?
They're going to be doing the Spinners.
Yes.
This is going to work. You got 6 members in New Edition. You got Bobby, Johnny, Ricky, Ronnie, and Mike.
It was like the Young Bucks paying tribute.
Paying tribute.
To the people who came before them, paved their way. Because you know that when New Edition were growing up, they had to see some Spinners.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
Boys and Men sent the package tape.
Yeah.
You had who Spinners were.
Yeah.
And
they sang a medley of their songs.
I said, these are the songs you need to sing. I planned out who needs to sing what part.
Rubber Band.
And if you follow me on social media, and you would have saw the message I made, I said, New Edition, because then I'm telling you who's performing for who. And I said, New Edition is performing at the Rock Hall of Fame. My guess is they're going to perform the Spinners, and I want to see Johnny Gill do the Felipe Wynn part.
Yeah, he did
I'm going to see it. This is a no-brainer.
No-brainer.
Yeah.
Shout out to DJ Khaled. I don't know why I do that.
Shout out to DJ Khaled with that song with Justin Bieber, Quavo, and Chance the Rapper.
Yeah.
And that's a song, like I said, I wouldn't listen to. I don't really, listen to that type of music and all that stuff too. But one of the writers of that song is Melvin Riley. Melvin Riley, the lead singer of Ready for the World, a group from the 80s. He is one of the writers on that song. So that's why I listened to it. That was the only listen to it. And it's the jam. It's the jam. I play it all the time. Who knew? Anyway.
The New Edition performance.
So the New Edition performance comes out. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
They sang 3 songs. They sang I'll Be Around. Kicked it off with Ricky. Ricky's another scene. Nothing with New Edition. Everybody can sing. Just like the Spinners. Kicked it off with Ricky singing I'll Be Around. Then we go into Bobby. Then we went in, then Ralph starts his part. Then they did, they did I'll Be Around. They did Coulda Been Falling in Love.
Yeah.
And they ended with Rubber Band Man. So I'm watching that performance.
Rubber Band Man performance was really good.
New Edition always performs.
They have New Edition.
Yeah.
They're killing it.
Yeah.
All that stuff. And then they bring out a homage to
Soul Train. And they had the dancers come out. They start dancing. They're moving around. Everything's happening. Yeah. And at the very end of what I said, the Rubber Band Man, I want to see it. Johnny Gill goes straight in Felipe Win mode. He's doing the mannerisms. He's doing the skip. He's doing the notes. I'm like, this is what we're talking about. This is what I wanted to see. It was fantastic. It was great. I was jumping down like I was there.
Yeah, it was really good performance.
If I was there, I would have lost it.
The audience was into
I would have lost it if I was there. It wouldn't have been pretty. I'd be making a big fool. I'm making a fool now of myself. Yeah. Anyway, that was fantastic. If you have not seen that performance, whether you are a New Edition fan or not, you need to watch that performance. It may not touch you as much as it touched me. You may go, it was great, but that performance. And also, really while you're at it, go to YouTube, look up the Spinners, and look up the Grammy Awards from 1975. They opened up the Grammy, and you see John Lennon's in there. There's Stevie Wonder. Everyone's looking, and this band is singing, and they're just killing. This is a live performance. I mean, they're singing it live at this Grammy performance.
Right.
So the Spinners have finally gotten an award, and it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
And we did it.
Yeah. I liked
it.
They had their
Why
performance.
Henry was still alive.
With the Soul Train dancers there. They brought a little homage to Soul Train.
Yeah, Soul Train.
It was
really fantastic.
And then it transitioned right into the creator, the founder of Soul Train, Don Cornelius.
Who's also from Chicago.
Yes.
He got, one of the special awards, like his influence of music and all that, and whatever else, too. And it was great. They had Questlove speaking. They had Oakland
his
Aretha
video
Franklin.
package had a lot of people.
They had Aretha Franklin speaking. They had Lionel Richie speak. They talked about Soul Train, how he started this in Chicago, got to L.A., and, I mean, that's the show. Like, Snoop Dogg's on. Right. Everyone's talking about how that was the show you watched every Saturday. And
and I liked it. They said you watched this, you could see the dance moves.
Yeah.
You were at the party later
that night. I mean, that show has got so many artists have made it big just from performing on that show.
Right.
People used to know the Soul Train dancers. Like, when you watch these shows now, like, dancers starting, the pros and all that. This is the Soul Train dancers.
Yeah.
You knew who they were.
Right.
You knew
the regulars.
Yeah, you knew the regulars. And you see them later in video. Like, I knew that group was Soul Train. You see them in videos. They started, going places. And two of the biggest dancers that come to that show is Jeffrey Daniels and my girl Jody Watley.
Yeah.
Who ended up starting a group that Don Cornelius put them in. Don Cornelius formed a group, Shalimar, and they did the theme song for that. And it was great. I wish he would have got it when he was alive.
Right.
But I think it represents just his. And people don't know his vision, and to do that as a black man, to have his own, back then, his own station, his own, and
right. And what I like is like Questlove, who is the drummer, band leader for Jimmy Fallon show with the Roots, is keeping that legacy alive.
Oh, he's all over it.
He's the biggest fan, and there's a musical.
Yeah, he's got a musical coming. Yeah, I want to see it.
Soul Train the musical that was playing in San Francisco just recently. That he's developing, hopefully to eventually take it to
the Broadway. Yeah, that would be really good if he does.
But it was really good. I like that he's keeping that legacy alive.
Yeah, he's keeping it alive. I wish my girl Jody would have been interviewed in one of those clips. But other than that, it was fantastic. It was really, really good, and that was his package. And I thought it was good. And the way it just carried on with the Spinner to kind of. It just was like boom, boom, boom.
So congratulations
congratulations for Don Cornelius for being honored. Next we had Kate Bush.
Running up that hill.
Kate Bush.
Yes.
Kate Bush is another one that's been on that ballot. She's been on one time, and next year she wouldn't be on it. Then next year she'd be on it. I never thought Kate Bush would ever be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I know she's one of your favorite artists.
That was never on my bingo card, but also on my bingo card, I never expected Big Boy to be out inducting Kate Bush, and no one else thought that either. As a spokesperson.
Yeah, I didn't have that on my bingo
he's
card.
A fan. But I'm a big Kate Bush fan, as you know. As you know, I have the lithograph.
Yes. There was a lithograph that we went to see, a documentary. What did we go to see?
It was a documentary of just her making of like her album or something. It was just like one of those.
Fantastic. And they were giving away
I dragged
prizes.
you to go.
Yes.
You didn't want to go. And it was
I really didn't.
And it was
once I got there, it was fantastic.
It was halfway across town. Like, I'm going. Please go with me. Whatever.
God, no. I'm not going all the way. But we went. It was fantastic. And they were giving away posters and stuff. And you got a lithograph that or post up with the
it was like a giveaway or something. It was a giveaway.
Yes.
Was it a give? It was a giveaway, and you needed tickets on that. I was freaking out because I wanted to win.
Yeah, and I wanted.
And you always win all those things. Yeah.
Yes, I do. And I framed that sucker and gave it to her for Christmas one year.
Yep.
And it was back in the day where you had to actually go to a frame store and get it framed, and I took that sucker, took it very carefully, tried to wrap it, tried to do whatever to make sure she had it, and we still have it to this day.
To this day we have it. It's numbered. It was in my bathroom. I was so excited. I want that thing, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to win. You're like, oh, we'll figure it out. And you were always a lucky one like that. Of course, you win the lithograph. And I'm like, yay, whatever.
Yeah, I'm like, what you worried
and
about?
I have it. So I'm a big Kate Bush fan. I always liked Kate Bush. And I always thought she's very, very underrated. Yeah. And I used to always tease all those singers in the 90s that came out to my girl Kate. All sounded like Kate with the high-pitched voices. Yeah. They all were very, very similar to Kate.
Yeah, because I was into Jane Whelan, whatever. And you were like, nope, Kate.
Yep, the Cranberries, all those groups. They all was Kate. But as Good Boy said, there's only one Kate.
Yeah, big influence.
And there's something about Kate Bush people don't really understand. And then Stranger Things comes out.
Yeah.
And people pick up that song. And people, it's like a new life. This record's on the chart. The song's on the chart. And I'm like, maybe Kate might get that chance. Every time I submit it, my friends would go on Facebook and go, she's going to be running up that hill, trying to get that record on fame. Ain't going to happen. So I thought it might actually happen.
Yeah.
It actually happened. And one thing, I'll keep it short because I know I got some people to do. One thing people don't understand about Kate Bush is that Kate Bush produces all her records. She writes all her songs.
Right.
She's a creative director.
Yeah.
Her videos are ahead of their time. You watch these videos. She's got this full scene. The videos like now you see. She was doing these videos 20, 30 years ago. A lot of
ballet influence.
And she's dancing in the video. She's I would say run up the hill. But she's inspiration, the designing, the background, the creative design. She does all of that stuff. And you don't see her much. She's not one you're going to see running around all that. I know she has a fear of flying because she used to do stuff here in the States, and she doesn't. And back in 2014, she did like a residency. Like she went to a place in London and did like 6 or 7 nights. And I was like, but how am I ever going to see Kate? My friend Lindsay flew there. And I should have went because we haven't seen her. Like I said, she's a private person. You don't see her. And you don't see her. She makes her records and she goes home and does her thing. Right. You don't see her out on the red carpet. You don't see her for attention. You don't see her getting press. And she just wants to be a private person.
Yeah,
and
she's so
that's
good.
What she is. And now she's in a Rock Hall of Fame.
Right.
So I didn't expect her to be there. But Big Boy said he went to London and he met her. He met her and all that. He talked to her about the songs and the arrangement of who's going to sing. And he gave her 3 songs to choose from. She picked Running Up That Hill.
He gave her 3 arrangements.
And they had the arrangements. And they had the girl, I don't know her name, but she's from St. Vincent.
St. Vincent, yeah.
I shouldn't know her name. She performed it.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of St. Vincent. Nothing against them. Nothing for them. But I've seen St. Vincent like 3 or 4 times at these tribute shows.
Right.
And she's always impressive.
Really good.
She did a really good job singing that song.
Okay, and what's the song that Kate sings that people have made over a lot? Besides that Running Up the Hill.
Woman's Work, yeah.
That is a really nice song.
It's a beautiful song.
Yeah, no matter which way she performed it, which way other people performed it. It's a beautiful
song.
So that was truly a testament to her.
Because when I first heard it, that Maxwell was singing, I'm like, I'm not a big fan of remakes, as you know. And Maxwell sings that song and kills. So it's like a whole different version.
Right.
It's like he just took that song and took it all out. But anyway, Kate Bush is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. My girl Kate has made it. The lithograph stays on my wall.
Girl power.
In my bathroom. And we got more women.
Yep.
Then we had Al Kooper got nominated. He got one of the Influence Awards. He's been around since 1958. He is a producer, our record producer. and an artist. If you don't know,
I recognize all the songs and all his work. Yeah, but I didn't know him by name at all.
Yeah, he produced Leonard Skinner. It was good to see someone like him make it. It was good to see his influence. He was there by videotape. He made a package. It was good to see him alive. You know.
Yeah, he was a session musician.
Yeah, it was good to see him alive when they get it when they're alive. And I read his book years ago, and it's such an interesting book.
Yeah, and I like what he said in his package. He said that a lot of his work or a lot of his playing and stuff was like 90% ambition and 10% talent.
Yeah, that was funny.
Like, oh, I can't believe you said that.
That's totally funny. No, a lot of artists that you talk to say that. A lot of artists, you know, they always say the best artists aren't signed, or the best artists don't have a record thing. The best artists don't, you know.
Right.
People always say the best talent doesn't get signed. It's not that, and it's 90%. And it's a lot of luck. It's be the right place, the right time. Sometimes it's being here and that, you know. So that's part of. But I was really happy that he got.
Yeah, and I like that he's part of history because he's one of the session people on like Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
It's
like you may not know his name, but
you know his influence.
You know his influence. And there was Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
Usually there's not a lot of country artists don't get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right.
But Willie Nelson made it. Dave Matthews introduced him, and he talked forever.
Yeah.
And told stories and everything else. And it went on and on. And all I thought about when I was watching it was, thank God I'm sitting on my couch, relaxing with my food, and not inside that cold theater watching it. Then again, I probably would have made that my dinner, my little quick dinner around, what you call it, break.
Right.
Only because he talks so long, but you don't know that. But anyway.
And then Willie's making his rounds too. He was just recently interviewed by Stephen Colbert. He's been around probably because of this Hall of Fame induction that was coming out. That's why he was
making the rounds.
But he's 90.
Yeah.
There's going to be a 90th birthday special for him.
They filmed it for 2 days at the Hollywood Bowl this year.
It's going to be on CBS later next month, I think. Yeah.
And I think he had a book coming out, or is the book already out? I think there's a book coming out.
Yeah, a book is coming out.
Yeah. So Willie's doing his thing, and I like how they have the Halloween costume. So one day I guess I can do Willie Nelson. He has this thing, it's a bandana. And it says Willie Nelson.
And
there's two braids, and you just put on your head and you go.
Yeah.
And it's hysterical. And you already have the name, so you know exactly who you are or whatever. But I didn't know he had that until I saw him tape it. But
it's amazing all the songs that he talked about. He talked about how he wrote, I can't remember, Crazy, Nightlife, and Funny How Time Slips Away all in the same week.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Yeah, I can imagine. Picture that.
I can't write a note.
It was amazing.
And this guy's writing those hit songs in that time period.
Yeah.
And he talked a lot about Ray Charles.
Yeah, and really songs how they used to call their songs rockabilly of the day instead of rock and roll. He was great friends with, like you said, great friends with Ray Charles. But he had a lot of the people that he influenced too. And there was a lot of songs. And all he was thinking about was just writing songs. He wrote his first song when he was like 12.
Yeah.
9. I can't remember how young he was, but he was really young when he wrote his first song.
Yeah, and then he did, In the Funny Time Slip Away. He performed. And then he had a surprise guest. He had Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
Chris Stapleton came out, and they performed together.
Yeah. And his sons came out.
And his sons were playing. They played, his band, Down Was. They put together, it was like a little Willie Nelson band. And then Sheryl Crow came out.
Again.
And she sang Crazy. So Sheryl Crow's like our substitute person. Last year she was there.
Person,
She was there, I think, for Dolly. She was there for someone else to perform. Then she ended up also performing for Dolly.
Right.
Because somebody was sick and couldn't make it. So this year she was there being inducted. And then she came out and sang. And I think she was taking Brandy Carlisle's place. Because Brandy Carlisle
it's hard to tell, but
was on the schedule. And so I'm thinking that's probably where because I was I'm like, she's back. She's back. Okay. So they sang Crazy. Sounded really good, too.
Right.
And they... It was good. It was really good the way
I liked it.
Yeah, it was good the way they did it. It was everything else. Then they did a little 2-minute clip just on the
2-minute clip.
A 2-minute clip of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum in Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really nice
because they want people to
go
and see it.
Yeah. And they kicked it off with Duran Duran because Duran Duran finally got to make it because they were performing in Cleveland this year. And they showed them.
They showed Dave Grohl.
They showed
Dolly.
They showed people actually coming there now to see their things. And I haven't been there in a while, but
our time going.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
I haven't been there in a while, but I want to go back. I want to plan to go back next year. Now they have a new wing. They have a new wing, like upstairs, where they have like all the costumes, you know, that they keep there now. They used to put them there and then put it back. Right. And now they have a signature plaque. And they were like, they didn't have all that when I was there, but it's really, really good. They really, really built it up, and it's really good. And I do want to go back. And
that would be nice
we should go back and check it out. And this year we go back, we probably won't be the only people going there.
Oh my God!
Like we were. Long story short,
Oh my God! Go to Cleveland when you see it, and when you go, don't go on a football Sunday because it's close to where the Browns play.
Yeah.
And we went, and we were the only ones going to the museum while everybody else was going to the game. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, we all got in the elevator. We're all talking. There was a guy. He was like teasing the people who had lion shirts on. There was going to be a fight in the elevator. I'm like, dude, come on. So we all walk up the elevator. We all go out to our hotel. We all go across the street. We all walk out across the street. We get to the area where the museum is, and Phyllis and I, we turn. And we are the only people.
Ones.
I mean, streets of people. The only ones that turn and go. I'm like.
And then we opened the door, and they were just like, "Oh, people!"
We
thought people were going to the game.
Yeah, it was really funny because we had went the day before, and it was like crowded.
Yeah,
so
we're like, we'll come back.
Well, I'm big. I need 2 days for this.
Right.
So we go back the next day. We had the place to ourselves,
and then some.
And then some. But that was a funny point, though.
Yeah.
But so if you go on a Sunday, there you go. Anyway. So that was that. So they did a commercial. Nice. So that was really good. Then we had Link Wray.
Yeah.
Link Wray finally inducted to the Rock and Roll of Fame. Every time there's an induction ceremony and Link Wray doesn't go in, get on social media, people start going in.
Right.
Why isn't this guy in? What do we have to do? But anyway, he made it. He's in under some kind of influence or early something, but he's in. I don't care how you get in, just get you in. Yeah, so he's a guitarist, and you know him from the Rumble and Rawhide, and of course in his package you have Stevie Van Zandt.
Yes,
and
Stevie
you
Van
have
Zandt,
Slash talking, Iggy Pop talking, Robbie Robinson talking, Taylor Hawkins talking, and these are all prepackaged tapes and people just talking
Jimmy
about
Page.
him. Dave with the Black Keys. Jimmy Page is saying how this is the person that made him want to be a guitar player.
Right.
He was influenced. They had an old clip of Jimmy. He's like, I was in my room. This is the guy.
Right.
Link Wray has made it. He is there. So then Jimmy Page
good for him.
does the introduction. And he's by video. He did his introduction. And I'm like, oh, when has it got some, family members for Link Wray? Do we have something going out, for Link Wray? Sometimes when it's an Influence Award, you don't really have people come out. They kind of,
it's pretty much the package.
It's pretty much the package, which I've heard, some people that families got upset. Well, we really wanted to save. They didn't give us time. And some said they cut it or, it just depends. And out of nowhere, Jimmy Page walks out on that stage with the guitar, and he performs. Jimmy Page performs Rumble.
It was actually great.
Jimmy Page has not been on a stage performing in 12 years.
Wow.
People don't know.
And he came out for him.
People don't know what a big deal that is. If you're watching that and you don't think about rock and roll and this, to have Jimmy Page come out the house.
Yeah.
He's Jimmy Page. He doesn't have to leave his house.
Right.
And if you don't know who Jimmy Page is, I won't fault you.
I know who Jimmy Page is.
No, I know you do. I'm saying anyone listening.
Oh.
They don't know who Jimmy Page is and the importance of that.
Google him.
Jimmy Page.
Get yourself some education.
Yeah, but Google him, Led Zeppelin. And all I know is that a lot of people didn't see the ceremony. A lot of people didn't watch it or didn't know about it.
Right.
And I remember
kind of crept up on people.
Yeah, I sent a message to one of my rock guys, and he's like, "Well, Jimmy Page." He goes, "Oh, Jimmy Page. Oh, he's my video." I'm like, "No, Jimmy Page was there."
Right.
And people would have. I think people in that audience lost it. And then of course they start putting the camera. You see Tom Morello, he's freaking out. You see Steve.
All the people in the audience.
You see people in the audience. They show Peter Frampton. He's sitting there looking like, oh. So you start seeing people, and that's a big deal. I mean, that's a very.
I thought it was really great that
that's a big deal. That will not be cut.
Right.
When that show comes on, that won't be cut. When that show airs on the condensed version.
Yeah. Yeah. And he gave a really great speech.
Yeah, a beautiful speech.
Yeah, very honored to be a part of it.
And
yeah.
And speaking of beautiful speeches, Elton John.
Oh,
Elton John just has a way with words.
Elton John was honoring his songwriting partner, Bernie Taupin, who was finally inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame himself.
Elton, when Elton got inducted back in, 96 or 90?
94,
wow. He gave his trophy. You know, I love a good give a trophy to someone's story.
Oh, yeah,
He gave his trophy to Bernie. He said,
I'm keeping my trophy.
I can't be there. Are you saying that if you got a trophy and I have been there for you all those years, all that, you wouldn't give him your trophy?
No. I will give... No. I will mention you. You get a mention. I might even give you a minute of my speech where I talk about, you know, how much you've done for me, how I influenced you with, but my trophy? Hell no. I'm keeping my trophy. It took me years to get it, 25 years to get it, to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I'm going to give it to you? Just so you know.
Okay.
And I don't expect you to give me yours, unless you want to.
See, I think I would give you, if you were my songwriter, I think I would give you.
You would not give me
I think I would give it to you.
You say that now because you don't have it. Once you get it, you know you're keeping it for yourself. Don't even pretend.
It's like the Oasis brothers, the Oasis guys.
Oh, no, we're not the Oasis guys.
We won't talk about them.
Yeah.
But that kind of reminds me of them.
Hell no.
You know, you're probably right. I probably won't.
Yeah, I know you won't.
Yeah.
Keep it for yourself.
You can come over and
look
look
at
it.
You earned it. Yeah.
Hell yeah, I earned it.
Yeah.
And I would be the one that'd be like, I'd be the person I'd be like Little Richard. You give me nothing about damn time. I'd be up there going, it's about time.
Yeah, how funny.
It's about time. You gave me the truth for me. Anyway, so Elton has such a beautiful thing with words. So Elton came up and just spoke about Bernie and just talked about it and just said.
Yeah. And he said they had just done an album that's supposed to come out, and I thought that was great.
It was great. Bernie has a new book that's out.
Yeah.
I heard it's really, really good. I haven't read it yet. And you all know the movie, the Elton John movie, so you saw that relationship or whatever. And then they show the package tape, and it's a lot we kind of knew about Bernie just because, you know, you kind of know the story, but a lot of people don't know it's an excellent package tape. And the one thing that still amazes me, and I guess it was the time frame, how Elton writes the music and Bernie writes the words. And Bernie used to write the words and mail it.
Yeah.
Mail it to another part.
Weird, the relationship.
Where they lived. And
how they first started.
He would get the mail and he would look it up and then he put the ad up in the mailing maker. And this is how this all started. It would never happen today, but.
I know.
And he would write, and he would put the lyrics to the music and all that. So, and then Elton performed to honor him.
And it was very beautiful.
It was so beautiful.
I like when Bernie finally made his speech. He goes, "Oh, great! Now I have to follow Jimmy Page."
Yeah.
That was very cute.
That was great. And this he talked about, like, he wrote your song, one of those beautiful songs.
Yeah.
He's like 17 years old. Can you imagine?
I know.
I mean, you listen to these songs. I like how his package and the graphics was showing, like, the focus on the songwriting.
Yeah.
He was talking
about Candle in the Wind. Talking about
beautiful
Marilyn Monroe, what influence he was. And then what I like, he was talking about music. Wasn't he the one that mentioned popular music?
Yes, it was him.
Yes. He was saying that. I think a lot of people forget that when they talk about, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, might as well change the name. Well, all the rock people, where's the so-and-so people? And it's like, it's music. Rock and roll was everything. Every single drama, every single genre that derived from one particular beat, one particular thing that was all the same. And he said that pop stood for popular music. It wasn't necessarily about rock and roll or about whatever. That's why you saw Frank Sinatra. That's why you saw some of these people that you see in the bands or in music, in the genres and stuff. So that's why sometimes when they say, oh, might as well change the name, or they get angry when there's some genre that they don't expect to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, just based solely on the name. Good God, just solely on the name. I don't like that. And I like that Bernie talked about it and mentioned it and said that it's for everybody, for all genres, for every single artist has been influenced by somebody that you never know. People say it all the time. Big Boy listening to Kate Bush. That's an example of it. You know, it's like, I don't know. It just frustrates me when people say that, but that's just me. That's my spiel.
Okay. Well, my spiel is a little bit half and half, as you know, and we will talk about. I'll mention my spiel at the very end.
Yeah, do we have time?
Well, I'll make it quick. But one thing I do like, I know.
I need
one
that
thing I do like what Bernie.
I'll make it quick.
Well, I do like what Bernie said. Bernie called out the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You mentioned half of it, but what I like what he called out was, and I'll make it short because I don't want to give it the attention. He called out when one of the founders of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame said he was writing a book and he was writing about music and music influence, and he could not find one woman to quote. And one woman, of all the artists out there, one woman he could find.
Ridiculousness.
Or one black person.
I know.
One black person. And I'm like, you mean to tell me...
One woman, one black person?
One black person. So I'm like, okay, so if you want to take it back...
How many years of music?
Okay, so if you want to take it back and you want to say, no one knew you could find, then let's talk about the old. You had your Smokey Robinson. You had, Stevie Wonder.
Right.
You had, none of those guys could be articulate to know enough. Lionel Richie.
Yeah.
You couldn't find anyone who was around in the 70s,
right.
The 60s to say that. And then you got your women. And one of the comments he made was, there's no way we can have Joni Mitchell. Carole King. It's like ridiculous. There's so many out there. So that quote was a big deal. If you don't know about it, Google it, look it up.
Right.
We would talk about it more, but I don't want to give them the recognition of it, and we don't have time.
Right.
But look at it. So that was the one thing I liked that Bernie mentioned.
Right.
Bernie said, the women and the black people and whatever, and,
Go Bernie.
Yeah, so that guy resigned and whatever. But, so that's one thing that Bernie said.
Yeah, but not before he did a lot of damage and ruined the reputation of his publication and of that ceremony.
Yeah. So on the second half of thing you brought, I'll mention the very, very end. So then Elton John performs.
You're right.
And Elton John
great performance of Tiny
Dancer, which is always such a beautiful song. But
it's always been one of my favorites.
Just the way it was just Elton and the piano. And they had and his piano's always mic'd, but they had his piano mic'd on every angle, and it sounded so pure and just so clear.
Right.
And just like you could hear a pin drop, and it was quiet. And Elton sang it with like such emotion, like he was just so happy for Bernie. Bernie is getting an award that's for Bernie and not him and Bernie together and whatever. And that friendship they have, and it's an honest relation and a great relation at the same time. That they have managed to do this for 53 years. And he goes,
right.
And then Elton goes, we've never had an argument. We have never had an argument. He didn't like a lot of things I did.
Right,
but it was just the way he said it. It was just so good and just so, it was fantastic.
Right.
Then they had the In Memoriam.
Yes.
And I could talk about the In Memoriam.
Always emotional.
For a while. It's always very emotional.
So much going on.
There's always going on. But I will give the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame all the credit in the world because their In Memoriam was 7 minutes long.
Nice.
7 minutes. Nobody.
It covered a lot
of people. And nobody was forgotten.
Yeah, there's nobody that was obvious that I've forgotten.
I won't say any names. Grammys, Oscars, whatever.
Yeah.
Where they pick and choose, who's going to be in it. And it's like, it's kind of like, you have to earn your way. We're not going to put you because we have you. And it's like...
Well, sometimes I can understand it because they try to do Academy members or recording Academy members or something. But it's always sad because people have done so much for music or so much for the movies, so much for the particular industry. They should be recognized.
Yeah.
And the Rock Hall
they
found their way to
can't
do it.
Because it makes you feel like you're not important enough. It's like, you got to put the point... Of course... If a person like Tony Bennett, who passed away, of course you can't leave Tony Bennett out the package.
Right.
But a sound engineer person who's recorded of records, a music executive, those guys shouldn't be left out. And a lot of times I feel the Grammys, they put out a program book where they list everybody for the year.
Right.
But only
people
10% are going to even see that program.
Yeah, people like to televise.
People like to tell. They want to see their relatives. They watch it. They want to see their loved ones. And I think the Rock and Roll of Fame, does the best job. I think all music shows should just take the Rock and Roll, just steal it. Just take the package.
Right.
Change it around if you want. And then one thing they do, if you're in the Rock and Roll of Fame, they put the logo next to your name.
Oh,
if you're not in the Rock and Roll of Fame, then they don't have it. So therefore, you're covering other people. And then they even do and it's slow enough so you can see the people, There's no artist singing some crazy song and taking away from it.
And what I like too is
solid.
It's very recent.
It's all black and white.
People who
it's all black and white.
Unfortunately passed away last month or last week, a few days. Yeah,
it's very
everybody was recognized.
And they even put like a big picture of your Tony Bennett. Starts at Tina Turner, a big picture. Jeff Beck's a member, so they show a little bit of his speech.
Yeah,
and then people shared the screen to include people in. They had like a series of like guitar players,
Yeah, 3 or 4 people per screen.
People per screen, and you
Women,
actually you see people. You're like, wow, that person mattered, and it was someone who just died. It was someone.
It's like shout out to them.
Just passed away like 2 days ago.
Aaron Spears.
That person was in there, and I had my friend Aaron in there. I was like, wow, this is something. This is like something. But I mean, someone that had literally just passed too was already in this package.
Yeah, it was nice.
They put the person in there, and it's great. And it's 7 minutes long. I don't think they'll cut it. I haven't seen it. Every time I'm watching TV, it has not been cut. Hopefully, it won't be cut in January.
Right.
Because it's A+, A class, A+.
Yeah.
I looked on the credits to see who did the memoriam package because I basically wanted to tell that person that you have it going on.
It was a great performance. Great package.
Great package. And I think I got the name. I took a picture of the credits so I could be sure to send that, just to tell that person what it means. Because here it is. There's a lot of people in there that you just aren't going to see other places.
Yeah, and they had
especially by rock guys.
From the package.
Rock guy, it was a really good thing. I know it's sad to actually be boosting about the in memoriam package. But
it was great.
It was great. And then afterwards, they usually do a performance.
Yeah.
To kind of to honor somebody.
Yeah, Chris Stapleton,
and they had
Sheryl Crow again.
Sheryl Crow, Chris Stapleton, and then
Brittany Howard.
And
Elton
John. Elton John showed up too. I mean, Elton John came back. And they sang The Weight by the band. And it just sounded so good. It was such a good... And that was it. There was no dancing, no singing.
Didn't need to have more.
You didn't need to have more.
Right.
It was just one tribute after the pictures went up. After the screening was gone, it started with Tina, and I think it ended with Tony? It ended with
Robbie.
With Robbie, of course. It ended with Robbie, and then went to
the
band. And it was great. That's what we want. That's what we need. Note, if anyone's listening to this podcast that have anything to do with any of the award shows, that's what you need
follow
to do.
it. Yeah, call that person, ask them what they did, how they did it, what they thought about. I know that people have minutes differently and things get restricted, but there's a way to do it.
And there was a way to do it, and it wasn't like one person go 25 minutes and one person had 30 seconds, or one person had something, because you always go, what is the criteria of being in this package? You know, like, what do you have to do? But I liked it. I liked the way they had like a record executive, producers. I saw Charles Compliment, who used to be my boss at EMI, just like, and then you watch and you're like, wow, and then even for like categories, they had like a bunch of guitar players together, a bunch of reggae people together, a bunch of drummers together, and that way you could get as many people in that time frame.
Right.
So kudos to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame about their memoriam section.
Right.
Rage Against the Machine.
Yep, they were next.
Tom
Morello was there representing the band, which was interesting because he said something about how him and the band members don't always get along, but they may not agree on certain things. And he gave the impression, to me at least, that the other people didn't want to come up there, or they were protesting their induction, or I don't know what.
Yeah, so Tom Morello is part of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame committee.
Right.
And it's been, as I had said earlier.
Oh, and then, we should say Ice-T was the one who introduced him.
And he said, they asked him, and he's like, no, I ain't got time, I'm not going to. And they go, oh, okay, we're just wondering, because we want you to introduce and induct Tom Morello. He's like, oh, I'll be there. It was funny. He's like, okay, I'll be there. Because people don't know that Ice-T used to be a performer. So Ice-T mentioned that, and he goes, oh, don't worry, I'm not here for TV and all that. Anyway, so Tom Morello, I'll make it short, I know I say it all the time, but Tom Morello and Questlove got on the committee, and they got on the committee because they said they were tired of people getting passed up and not being on it. So maybe if they got on the committee, they could help get these people into the Hall of Fame. You know, and that's how Kiss got in. That's how Janet got in. That's how Hall & Oates got in. They Questlove was fighting for those people, and Tom's and 5 Lava Rockers that got in. He's been fighting for.
Yeah, so he's talking about the speech how he got in. Very political.
But he said that Zach Zach, Brad, and Timmy didn't want to. He indicated that they didn't want to be involved in that.
Right.
And I do remember though that Zach was at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when Patty Smythe got in. Smith got inducted. So could it be the whole thing about the ban, like all these rockers don't get in, or could it be a Disney thing?
Yeah, I hate that thing.
Could it be a Disney thing? A lot of people have said that because of the strike. A lot of people don't want people to participate in that.
Right, I can see
it's
that.
held by Disney.
Very
we really
well.
don't know. Maybe we'll have to wait for him to say something on. But I do remember he went to one.
Yeah, if there's some conversations about it, maybe we'll find out.
I found that very interesting, and of course he's very political, as we know. So he had a political speech, and I thought it was a great speech. People were kind of so on it, but a lot of people were saying on social media they were disappointed that he was there when the other band members weren't there, and that he should have stood back with them. I'm like, that's between them, because there's been bands that have gotten the Rock and Roll Fame and have not showed up or did not perform. The Radiohead was one of them.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Axl for Guns N' Roses. There's been bands and Sex Pistols like, we're not coming. You finally got us in. We're not coming. And then there's other bands that say, we're not coming if you put us in. And it's like, okay. So that's been an issue, whatever. But I thought his speech was great. And there was no performance. And that's probably why, because he's the only one. He said, I represent 1/4 of Rage Against the Machine. I'm like, well, where are the other guys? I'm like, where's everybody else at? I'm like, that's kind of weird. Usually all the guys are there and one person may only speak for everybody at the same time. But I thought that was pretty interesting. And he was saying, you need to go out there, you need to do, work. If you haven't seen, our band, make your own band.
Yeah, do your own thing. Do your own thing.
Yeah.
If you're a student, do an underground paper. If you're something, throw a brick. If you're an artist, activist, throw a brick.
Yeah, it was very interesting, the things he was saying.
Yeah.
But 3 things I did like that he did. He thanked the guy who signed them. That's one thing that people sometimes, the guy who actually signed them, he was saying how they couldn't sell. They were playing in Orange County and they had no following. And the guy who actually signed them to the label, he also thanked his tech, his actual, guitar tech, which I think, that's such an important person in a career that doesn't really get recognized.
Yeah.
And he thanked the people that used to go and pass out the flyers for them. And anyone knows in the old days, the flyers.
Street teams,
The street teams are a big, big deal. Kids today don't even know.
Oh, I know. It's so easy for them now to just take their thumb, finger and hit a social media post.
But there was no social media then. You had to have flyers, and you passed them out, and you put them on we used to put them on the things.
You stand outside.
And you had to put them on so someone wouldn't see
with your flyer or with your postcard, or the people leaving the club to get them to
pass them out, and staple them on the poles and try for the cops wouldn't see you. You're trying to. But so I liked that. That was the 3 things he thanked. I really liked that he put those 3 things out, because those 3 things are the things that he. And then of course he thanks his mom, lovely mom, who just turned 100, who's the original political person. Yeah. And she was there. And then lastly was the last person.
Last but not least, the best for last
was Missy
or one
Elliot.
Of the better performances for last.
Missy
Misdemeanor Elliot. Melissa
Elliot. So Missy Elliot was inducted, and as I had said originally about Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and hip hop, I said not only is someone from hip hop going to get in there, I go, it'd be really cool if they could get a woman. Right. So when I think of hip hop and women, I go to my generation, and I go to the Latifahs and the Money Loves, and that's where I'm going. And they went with Missy, which I could kind of understand how that happened, whatever too. And Missy was great. Yeah, Missy was great. Queen Latifah represented. She's the first female rapper.
Cool that she was there, because Queen Latifah solidifies female rap a lot of times when you think about it. And Missy's a producer, songwriter. She's a rapper too, but you don't necessarily think of her. Yeah. When you think rapper.
You think rapper, you really don't. So there was Queen Latifah. Yeah, it was great. She came out. She presented it. She said she had a long speech about Missy. They showed a really good package, and they had everybody talking. They had Megan Thee Stallion. So then you got her generation. Cardi B, because here they come, the newer ones now. Yeah, DMC. Yeah. Diddy. Pharrell, because they're from Virginia.
Timberland,
Busta.
partners.
And of course you have Timberland on there because, you know, everyone knows her and Timberland started as a production team. And one story she told was that Sylvia Rowe wanted to sign her. And she wanted a record label to produce records and write music and, you know, everything else. And she said, okay, you give us an album, we'll give you a record label. And then 6 albums in, you know, here she is. And Missy's another one, very creative, you know, very creative with the designs and the showmanship and her visual look. And just the way, if you go to your live show, and it's just like, it's sick.
She's crazy.
And people don't know she was songwriting. You know, she wasn't trying to be a rapper. I mean, she's wrote so many songs. Janet Jackson, you know, Aaliyah. If you look at all these songs she's written, you know, that Fantasia album that I still play, that very first Fantasia solo album, Missy, those songs.
That's great.
And then you have her songs, you know, Work It, and, you know, so here she comes out, and she does performance before she speaks. And
so good.
She's just all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got the dancers, she's got the visuals, and we saw her do that performance at the Essence Festival.
Very similar to it.
Very similar, but it was different.
Right.
And she goes on, and this she's an audience, and she's making her way, and then she comes back, and then she has, it's so timed, like, she jumps on the stage. This guy's already there. He gives her a cowboy hat. You know, he comes out. Then the dancers go off.
Good.
And it's choreographed, what you see when you go to live shows. But it's just so on time. Like, she's just so on time. And if you like rap music or not, you can enjoy her performance.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's the way she carries it. You may even be a fan.
It was fantastic.
But you start watching, you're like, wow, this girl's really good.
Right.
You know, and then that performance you saw at the Rock and Roll of Fame wasn't even with the graphics because you don't have all of that. I mean, I'll never forget, we went to this hip hop honors or hip hop something.
Yeah.
For VH1.
Oh,
and she did this performance, and they had like water and all this stuff.
Yeah, she had the dancers
and all this stuff. It was sick, and they did it all in one take. It was no take, you know, because some artists, I won't say, did a bunch of takes.
Over again, right.
She did that whole dance, and I was like telling people, wait till you see it. It was at the Paramount lot. We're outside. I'm like, that thing was
perfect performance for television.
And then we saw it. Then even when I saw it on TV, it was with the graphics. I was like, whoa. I'm like, and I've seen her in concert back in the night when she first.
She gets better
when she first came out, and she was good then.
Doesn't she?
But she gets better every time. She looks great. She was better. So she came out. She did her speech. She was very emotional. Yeah. Just talking about all the artists, like she just to be in a category with the artists that were being inducted, and then she gave a shout out to L. Cool J, you know, Favorite Flav, and then she mentioned the Moni Loves and the MC Lights and people, you know, Queen Latifah,
women
that she wouldn't be there if it wasn't for those women, and she mentioned that, and then one thing she did was really, really cute. She said her mom was there, and she said that her mom had never seen her perform live.
Yeah.
And you're like, huh? And she goes, it's not my mom's. It's not my mom's fault. She goes, I just didn't want to have her hear me say these words and that word. She's a church lady, and it was great. It was great. And then she started getting emotional at the beginning. Queen said, "You have a few minutes." So Queen starts talking. The audience was going crazy, screaming because I saw that performance. Like I said,
coming down from it.
That performance was top notch.
Right.
And so she did that, and then she did her speech. So she got emotional. So she ended it. And then there was no all-star band or no people performing together.
Yeah.
Missy was the last one, and it went off. It's like, oh, the crowds are coming up. I guess it's over.
I mean, in the end, it was good that they didn't have it, only because I felt like between the Memoriam and Willie and Sheryl Crow, they had a lot of collaborators and stuff already that they didn't really need little thing. And then I just couldn't imagine. Chaka Khan saying, "Oh, it's 4 hours later. You want me to say goodbye or perform for people? Nah, it's okay. I'm not doing it."
Well, Sheryl Crow had performed 3 times. She could have came out again.
Yeah, I know.
They could have had Sheryl Crow up there with Tom Morello playing the guitar.
Nope.
And Willie sitting there singing.
Nope.
And maybe.
No,
not.
We had it all throughout.
Yeah,
so we're good.
Maybe not then.
Yeah, we're good.
New Edition could have. Maybe not. Anyway, so and that was it. 4.5 hours later,
it was great.
It'd be interesting to see what they're gonna do. I thought it was great. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite performances every year to see the ceremony, to watch it, to see it, and I get all involved, in it. And you should watch it if you have Disney Plus. Watch it on Disney Plus.
Right.
I told you the order
back.
So if you need to know the order ahead, or you can you can go through and watch it. each segment's about like 20 minutes per person, maybe 10 for the artists that, you know, the ones that did the influence ones that weren't as long. And you should watch it. They had, you know, there definitely was a good lineup. It was a good lineup. I liked
it a lot.
A different class, you know.
Right.
Some years I like different classes better than, you know, other classes or whatever.
Yeah, but they're getting to the point now where all the classes that they're going to induct are going to be people that I grew up listening to.
Yeah.
Which I think is really good.
That's what's going to
I'm going to like that a lot.
And the last thing I'm going to say on it, and I will make it really short. To answer your question.
I will make it short.
I know. I'll make it. Actually, it'll be shorter for me because I know we don't have a lot of time.
Okay, go.
The thing with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I feel they should change the name. And the reason why I feel they should change the name is not because music is all different genres and all different, you know, things, everybody's influence and all that. The reason why I feel they should change the name to the Music Hall of Fame is the politics behind it. The fact that it's gotten so between the committees and between the, you know, organizers and between, like, it's kind of like a high school, I should say high school, like a college frat team where you're trying out for this fraternity and we're going to let some people in and there's some other folks we're not going to let in. We don't let a lot of women in. We don't like a lot of rappers in. We don't let a lot of this people in. So I think the whole controversy part of it has kind of ruined the image. Like I have a love-hate relationship with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right.
And my thing with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is that if it's going to be called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you can have country artists, you can have R&B artists, you can have some art, but you need to have some rock artists in it. And there's so many rock artists that are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and there's really no reason why they shouldn't be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. For Pat Benatar to just get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last year is ridiculous. When Pat Benatar, on the list every year she was turned down, she was the only person with the Grammy in the rock category. So you can't have this. It's like it's you can't have a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and then tell Pat Benatar she can't be inducted in it because she's the only person. So you see what I'm getting on the accents? Like it's that kind of stuff.
I get what you're saying.
And then there's some artists like Boston, Styx, Foreigner, you know, Iron Maiden. These people are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's like, but you have got other artists, which I won't mention because I don't want it to sound, you know, to them. Other artists. Okay, so one thing I didn't say, you have to be in your craft for 25 years to be eligible. Right. So when you start looking at other artists that in their 25th year, boom, they're in, and you're like, wait a minute. Boston can't get in, but this can't get in. And then you find out from the committees and to the organizers that they didn't like these bands in the 70s and they didn't like these bands in the 80s.
That is changing.
Changing, yeah.
Changing and evolving and stuff. And I feel like I don't like the controversy or the politics or the concern behind it ruining it for the people, because I think it hurts sometimes when you go, oh, here's the class, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and people aren't like, congratulations to Chaka, congratulations to so-and-so. The first thing they do is, where's so-and-so, where's so-and-so, where's so-and-so, where's so-and-so. I don't think they give enough time for you to congratulate the people who are in it, which is fantastic. But what I will say, and it happens every single time with every single football Hall of Fame, basketball Hall of Fame, so-and-so Hall of Fame, it does that all the time. You go, oh, where's so-and-so?
It can't be that bad.
I know. Oh, yes, it can.
Okay.
How come so-and-so's not in? How come this other person's not in it, number one? And then number two, like I said, it's like people need to not focus so much on the name, so much on the genres, and so much on the categories. It's like the Grammy Museum, the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, and all that stuff. People are like, where's that thing? Where's this? Where's that? So I feel like it shouldn't be that much of a focus, number one. And I like that there are people that are changing it, working to change it, and working so it won't always be that way. Things are evolving, hopefully. The music industry is evolving, and maybe the history and the way we preserve it is evolving too. That's the way I like to look at it.
Yeah. But that's it. I think opposite of that.
Of course you do.
But that's just me. That's just I take it very strict. Like I said, I have a love-hate relationship with it. My thing, the way to solve it, If there's 10 bands I can name right now, I've been putting that Rock and Roll of Fame, and I bet half of that problem would be solved. Half that problem would be solved because you'd be like, okay, and the first thing I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, where Peter Frampton,
I know,
to be sitting there, not inducted into the Rock and Roll of Fame, it's just like, to me,
you want to name your 10 people?
To me, it's like a screw. And then, it may sound biased. It may sound biased, but for Def Leppard to take 14 years after being eligible to get in.
Yeah.
Def Leppard, who has 2 diamond-selling records in rock music. They have to wait 14 years to get in to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like I said, I know it sounds biased because everyone knows Def Leppard's my band, and I counted 14 years. And I always said, if Def Leppard ever got in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I will go because they got in. But 14 years. It's like...
Yeah, it happens.
It's like you talking about status. You can't get any higher than a diamond-selling record. So this is a band that can sell records, still produce, and record, and you don't honor them because they weren't hip or cool enough in the 80s, or they didn't get the votes, or they didn't get whatever. It's like...
That was the tarnished part of it. That is changing.
They should have been nominated. When the 25th year came, they should have, got in. To the point where... Joe Elliot, the singer, was like, I don't even care anymore because it's like, I don't even care anymore. And then once people started, then they do a fan vote, and they won the fan vote. And that's probably how they got in.
The fan
because
vote
they won the fan vote. And everyone was voting because people were like, this is like ridiculous. So, and then they got in. So I know it sounds biased to bring Def Leppard as an example, but like Pat Benatar, I can name, Judas Priest just got in last year. So it's like, and then Cyndi Lauper getting turned down this year.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, all right. So that's why I think the name should be changed. Normally I wouldn't think so, but that's why. It's kind of like, I won't name the artist, but an artist said one time that they was like, well, we could be in the Rock Hall of Fame, but we wouldn't be in the Country Hall of Fame. Or we wouldn't be in the Rap Hall of Fame, or the Soul, or, So that's the only reason why I think they should change the name. I
don't think so.
That's just my opinion, and that's another reason why. And then they put the list of the nominees out first, the nominees first.
Right.
Then the committee has to vote for the top 5 who they should pick. So you get this list of 20 artists.
Right.
And then when you go and they label it down, then that starts another conversation. Because people are like, this person didn't get in, this person didn't get in, and that person got in. So that's the only reason why
that it's changing and evolving.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I feel that they changed the name. But that's
what's it going to change it to? Music Hall of Fame?
Music Hall of Fame.
I don't know.
That's just my opinion.
I don't think they need to.
Just call it Music Hall of Fame. But that's like I said. That's my opinion. That I feel strong about. People feel.
Then why is it they could just move it out of Cleveland then and start their own thing? And a lot of people are doing their own thing.
Yeah, people are doing their own thing. That's how a lot of little, I shouldn't say minor. A lot of independent shows started because of all the controversy and everything with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But anyway,
it's changing. Anyway, it's great, and it was a great ceremony. It's a great year, and I look forward to it happening next year. Who knows? Well, who knows will be the class this next time coming up, and it might be in Cleveland next year, or maybe it'll be in LA. Who knows?
It should flow back to Cleveland, but we'll see what happens.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, and we're out of time. Yeah. There's other little things I could mention, but
out of touch, out
of time. But Hall & Oates, they finally made it. Thank you, Questlove.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can find me on social media at Belinda's LA Music on Twitter and on Instagram, and I will be talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
You can find me, Phyllis_Thomas. I'm on social media. Just find me.
You can also find us at TVMusic Network.
Yeah.
We're on Twitter. We're on
check out
Twitter.
Our site.
We're on Instagram. You can check it out. We have stories and podcasts and
entertainment news,
and interviews, entertainment news.
Podcasts on Podbean, wherever you can find your
podcasts. You can find our podcast. We're on iHeart. We're
on
iTunes,
Apple, Amazon.
We're all there. And tell all your friends to listen to us.
Tell everybody.
Yeah, let everybody know to listen to us.
Didn't mention it, but we're still looking for sponsors.
We're still looking for sponsors.
We'll take you.
If
you want us.
And all that. Closing this out.
Yes.
We have a future Hall of Fame artist. John Morgan and Dave Simiak, and they're going to take us out with the lovely and beautiful song called Eden.
It's a great song.
It's a great song. Take us out and
Thank
nominate Boston for the Rock and Roll of Fame next year.
Yes, please do. Goodbye.
Bye.